You've killed a lavender plant before, don't tell me you haven't. Somewhere, a dead lavender plant is standing there, gray, brittle, hollow in the middle. The stems snap like old pencils. They just followed the wrong instructions. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the secrets that keep lavender alive for years, even if you forget about it, because almost everything sold to you about lavender care is built for a plant that doesn't actually exist. A soft, thirsty, high-maintenance plant that needs watering, feeding, and babying. That plant isn't lavender. That's a fantasy someone invented to sell fertilizer. Real lavender is one of the toughest, most stubborn survivors in the entire plant world. Picture it growing straight out of cracked limestone on exposed rocky slopes, roots wedged into stone with nothing around it but dust and heat for months at a time. It survives summers that leave many garden plants struggling and wilted by comparison. It has outlived empires. And in a few minutes, you're going to learn the 4 things that let it survive you too, even the version of you that forgets it exists for a month at a time. Stick around for the 3rd one. It's the reason most home lavender dies within its first winter, and almost nobody talks about it. People don't kill their lavender through neglect. They kill it because they care for it exactly as they were taught to. The mistake, hiding in your kindness. Here's the first thing to understand, and it will feel backwards. Every kind thing you do for lavender is quietly working against it. You water it because it looks thirsty. You feed it because good soil grows good plants. You tuck it into a nice bed near your flowers because that's where the pretty plants go. Lavender doesn't want any of that, and the reason goes back millions of years. This plant evolved on dry Mediterranean hillsides where rain is rare, soil is thin, and summers are brutal. To survive, it developed narrow, silvery leaves that reflect heat and hold onto moisture, and deep roots built to chase whatever water sits far underground. It's not designed for comfort. It was created to survive. So when you hand it rich soil, regular watering, and a sheltered little bed, you're asking it to survive in the exact conditions it evolved to avoid. Giving lavender rich, cushioned soil is a bit like training a marathon runner on a couch, comfortable but completely against everything that made it strong. Here's the shift that fixes it, and it feels almost cruel at first. Give lavender your worst spot, the driest, sunniest, most neglected corner of the yard, the one where nothing else survives, the patch you've been embarrassed about for years. That's lavender's dream home. Picture it there, silver green and glowing in full sun, thriving in the one spot in your yard you'd given up on. The ground it actually needs. Now, here's where most people fail before the plant even goes in the ground. You've heard the words well-drained soil 100 times, and you've probably assumed your garden bed already qualifies. It almost never does. This is where almost every garden guide quietly oversimplifies things, and it's exactly where most lavender is doomed before it's even in the ground. Think about those exposed slopes again. Rain runs straight through loose, rocky ground in seconds. There's nothing there to hold water in place, which is exactly why lavender's roots evolved to hate sitting in moisture. Your backyard soil, dense and rich, is nothing like that. It holds water the way a sponge does, and lavender roots simply were never built to sit inside a sponge. What lavender actually needs is closer to gravel than garden soil. When you dig the hole, mix in coarse sand or crushed gravel, roughly half of what you'd normally put back in. Then plant it slightly raised just a couple of inches above the surrounding ground like a tiny hill. That small mound is doing something critical. It's pushing water away from the base of the plant instead of letting it pool there. Because here's the truth almost no one tells you. Lavender rarely dies of thirst, it drowns. Slowly, quietly, underground, long before you notice anything wrong on top. Skip the compost too. Rich, generous soil sounds like a gift, but for lavender, it produces soft, floppy growth, weaker scent, and a much shorter life. Lean soil is what keeps this plant alive for a decade or more, tight and compact, and covered in flowers instead of leggy and thin. The part that saves 9 out of 10 plants. This is the one. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. This advice sounds completely wrong at first. Stop watering your lavender, not less, almost entirely. Every instinct, You will scream that a wilting, dull-looking plant needs water. For lavender, that instinct is usually wrong. That tired, grayish look is almost always overwatering, not thirst, because those same roots built for chasing deep, scarce moisture start to suffocate the moment they're sitting in wet ground. Water sitting around lavender's roots is a bit like asking someone to breathe underwater. The problem isn't a lack of resources, it's the wrong environment entirely. Here's the actual rule. Water deeply once a week for the first 2 or 3 weeks after planting, just to help the roots settle in. After that, only water when it's been dry for 2 or 3 weeks straight and the soil a couple of inches down is completely dry to the touch. In winter, stop watering altogether, not even during a dry spell. Cold, wet roots are the single biggest killer of established lavender. More than pests, more than disease, more than a bad summer combined. Let it sleep dry the same way it would through a cold, rainless winter on that rocky slope. If yours is in a pot, this matters even more. Use a terracotta pot, not plastic or glazed ceramic, because it breathes and pulls moisture away from the roots. And get rid of the saucer underneath entirely. Standing water in that little tray has ended more lavender plants than any drought ever could. Get this one habit right and something strange starts happening. The plant you were sure you'd kill by August is still there in October, still silver, still holding its shape, almost daring you to forget about it again. The cut that most people get backwards. If you've ever pruned lavender only to watch it turn into a hollow, woody ring with a little green fuzz on top, that wasn't bad luck. That was a pruning mistake almost everyone makes. And here's the frustrating part. Most people don't kill lavender by pruning too much. They kill it by cutting in exactly the wrong place. To understand why, picture what happens to this plant in the wild without any pruning at all. Left alone, it grows leggy and sprawling, opening up in the middle as the base gets shaded out and stops producing new shoots. Pruning isn't decoration. It's the one thing standing between a tight, healthy dome and that same hollow collapse happening in your own garden. Lavender needs 2 cuts a year, and the timing is not flexible. In early spring, once you see new green growth starting, shape the whole plant into a tight, rounded dome, cutting back about 1/3 of that fresh growth. Then again, right after it finishes flowering, cut back a little further, shaping that dome again. Here's the rule that decides whether the plant lives or dies long term. Never cut into the bare, woody stems at the base. That wood does not grow back, ever. One cut too deep and that branch is gone for good. Always leave a bit of green above the wood line. Do this faithfully every single year, starting when the plant is small, even when it feels wrong to cut back something so young. Skip even one season of pruning and the center of the plant starts to split open and hollow out. And within a couple of years, there's no saving it. The plants that live 15, 20 years, the ones that look untouched by time, dense, rounded, covered in bees every summer, aren't lucky. They were cut on schedule every single time, without exception. So before you plant or before you touch your pruners again, here's everything in one place. Give it your worst, driest spot instead of your best soil. Build it a small, raised, gritty bed instead of rich ground. Water it rarely and almost never in winter. And cut it back twice a year hard, but never into the bare wood. 4 small shifts. And the plant that used to die on you every single year becomes the one that survives your busiest, most forgetful season, and comes back thicker the year after that. Lavender was never difficult. It was simply following rules no one ever explained to you.